3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble co-host Hunter, and welcoming back to the podcast and to the lovely state of Nevada, we've got Colin here. Colin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Hunter. Thanks for having me in person.
I know. As I just mentioned, Colin moved back to the great state of Nevada, where there is no
Battleborn.
Yeah, where there is no state tax. Sorry, California. And dude, I remember I lived in California, man. I remember the first time I got my first paycheck, and I was like, "Oh man, first paycheck!" And it just seemed like almost 40% of it gone. I was like, "What the fuck?" And like some of it was federal. I'm like, "All right, fine," but that's state tax, and that was
great beaches in California, but
true.
High taxes.
Yeah, but that was 13 years ago, and I know it's gotten worse since then, which just, oh god, just even thinking about that hurts.
Well, that's why Reno's blowing up right now.
Yeah.
All the tech companies got their big warehouses out in Fernley.
Yeah, thanks Tesla. But
that's right.
But welcome back, sir. And
thank you.
So we're gonna be reviewing Stuber. Yeah, that's how you say it. Stuber tonight. But before we get on that, our lovely friend Colin here was unable to make the Spider-Man Far From Home review because he was sick. And then I have a quick diatribe to go on, which I know is so uncommon for this podcast. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Colin, real quick, and I'm gonna give you a couple minutes here. Give us your thoughts on Spider-Man Far From Home. We already did the spoiler review, which if you have not listened to, you can check that out on all of the platforms that we're normally on, which we'll list here at the end of the podcast as well. So, Colin, floor is yours. Talk to us about Spider-Man.
Can I ask what you gave it?
I gave it fan-fucking-tastic.
Fan-fucking-tastic. That's what I thought.
I just left. So, me and Colin actually saw it together, and so as you know, like I said, we've already done the spoiler review, but if you haven't seen it, here comes a giant. We're about to spoil it again, so just if you haven't seen it, fast forward like 10 minutes, you'll be fine. That mid-credit scene alone, I went, okay, it would have been an A just off that alone, because mid-credits just blew my fucking mind.
What was the mid-credits?
Daily Bugle.
Oh,
yeah.
Jameson.
Yeah. Like,
he's back.
Yeah, like that, when I saw that, I went, holy shit. Like, that, it's
gonna mess up my whole way I think about things.
Right?
Like, no, he's the same Jameson that was in the first movie.
Yeah.
You can't have the same actor. It fucks with my head.
Oh, dude, I was so happy. And just, Alea will tell you, too, that my jaw was, if it could hit the floor, it would have been on the floor. Because I was like, what am I watching?
That was crazy.
Yeah.
For sure.
And Jake Gyllenhaal, I thought, was brilliant as Mysterio. Mm-hmm. And I love that movie. But, Colin, the floor is yours. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think when we sat down to start watching it, first, I like how it opens and it addresses like everything that happened during Endgame in like a really funny high school, like informative news piece that plays in the high school. Like, I like that that's the way it tied you into like post Endgame, which this is the first movie post Endgame, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that was cool. I like the style of like Spider-Man Homecoming and then now Spider-Man Far From Home, and that it's that kind of high school style, kind of coming of age type of movie that's going on with Peter Parker chasing after Mary Jane. Like, that's all he actually really cares about, and he just happens to he's like, oh dang it, I have to save the world again. Like, I love that. I love that style of story that plays out in these movies, and they did a really awesome job with it. Jake Gyllenhaal, dude. he comes in and he's helping, and I was so confused. Because I was like, I always remember Mysterio as a bad guy. Yeah. So what's happening right here? He's the friend. I should have known better that the twist was going to be coming later on. But the twist was awesome.
And it hurts when it happens.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh.
But they tied like way back down into like Tony Stark like Civil War days.
Yep.
So I like the way they reached that far back.
Yeah.
Into like that's the origin of Mysterio.
I was really surprised they actually did that. I was like, oh. Because that's not out of the comics. He's just a failed like visual effects.
Yeah, they gave him a cooler backstory.
Agreed.
To fit into the MCU that they set up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
The way Mysterio plays out, I think some of it was hard for me to be like, okay, wait, what are we doing? Like, we have drones everywhere, but the drones are so good at what they're doing that it makes like all of the holographic images feel real to everyone.
Yeah.
That was a hard pill to swallow, but it was still awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I get you.
Like, it creates for these amazing visual effects, that's for sure.
Dude.
And, like, you know, it can create these scenes where, like, Spider-Man feels like he's tripping out because he's just in the holographic world.
So I want to bring that up to you because since you've played if you have not played it, pun very much intended, the amazing Spider-Man PS4 game, when you fight Mr. Negative, you get put into that kind of that, like, negative zone where you're fighting these, like, you know, these creatures that you don't know if they're real or not. Mm-hmm. And it's very similar to how they portray Mysterio in here, and you're kind of like... And I knew it was good when even as I'm watching the movie, I went, I don't know what the fuck is real right now, and that's freaking me out.
Yeah, no, it made for really suspenseful scenes, the way that Mysterio was fucking with Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I'll be the full disclosure, I did have a couple edibles before you went in, so I was sitting there like...
Yeah, you were tripping.
Dude, I was. I was like, oh shit. I was like, Mysterio, stop fucking with Peter.
I had the pleasure of sitting in the seat in the aisle behind Hunter, so I got to just watch all of Hunter's reactions to the movie. So that really bumped the movie up a notch for me, I have to say, personally. So the special effects were really good. You know, it's Spider-Man, Marvel movies in general, there's going to be some horse pills in there. You know, a few things that are hard to swallow. It, like, completely, like, realistically... But it's still a comic book movie. Like, these are still based on stories that were written for comics. And they're translating it in a way that's still very believable. I'm like, okay, I think we're getting close to technology that could pull that off. But obviously, like, we're talking about Tony Stark and stuff like that. So it's a whole different universe. But, yeah, I don't know. I like the storylines where it's just Peter Parker... like hanging out with his buddies, chasing after girls, like that whole high school vibe of Spider-Man. It's really fun to watch, and then the action was awesome. So, just coming off of Endgame, this is like it was right what we needed. But it's after just seeing Endgame, where that's like the fan-fucking-tastic of fan-fucking-tastics, at least for me in these MCU movies. This one's probably solid A+.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I could be wrong, I feel like you gave in-game, I think we both gave it an A+, I feel like.
Okay.
I feel like we did.
Did we? I thought
I'm like 99% sure we both gave it.
I thought we gave it fan-fucking-tastic.
I think we both gave it A+ because we thought there was some stuff in the middle that got a little contrived. I feel like we both gave it A+.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I think this is... It's comparable, but I mean I just think like the gravity of everything that was happening in Endgame is kind of like what I'm thinking of, like where this is just like it was a good side story.
Okay.
You know, where you know you have Mysterio fucking about and Spider-Man takes care of him.
That's fair.
But it's like the entertainment value of it. It's way more lighthearted than Endgame.
Yeah,
like way more of it, like an easy watch.
See,
There's not a bunch of people dying and you have to cry the whole time.
See, I think we needed that though after Endgame because Endgame is just, I mean, you're dealing with Tony Stark dying.
Yeah,
and it is such a, I mean, you know, I mentioned it in
this one had Happy and Aunt May too.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, I even said during our Infinity War review, which if you have not listened to, you should, that, you know, Cap and Tony were goners, and technically I was kind of right, because Cap, while he didn't die, quote unquote, he's no longer Captain America. We have a new Captain America, which I'm stoked for, because Anthony Mackie gets to take up the shield and the mantle, which, fuck yeah, that's one of my favorite comic book runs in the last decade. So
that'll be a good movie.
That. And then,
as long as he can throw the shield.
Yeah,
he's got to throw the shield.
Which is one of the hardest laughs I got in Far From Home when Happy tries to throw a shield.
How does Cap do this?
Yeah, I laughed really hard.
That was great.
I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah. And then we got to watch Tony Stark die, which was, again, knew was coming, but it was like, oh, like this is a bummer. Like,
so I'm also at the disadvantage of reviewing this a week after I saw it too, because I feel like right when I was leaving that theater, I was probably right at a fan-fucking-tastic too. And because it's fun. It's like I would go see this movie again in theaters. It's fun.
So I had to wipe tears away because, like as I mentioned in our review, I had gone through and I watched every single Spider-Man movie with the exception of Into the Spider-Verse within like a week span.
Yeah.
And just the way they have not done Spider-Man correctly is very anger-inducing for me because Spider-Man is my favorite is my favorite comic book character ever. And so just seeing those two really derp, amazing Spider-Man movies and Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 2, which is not a good Spider-Man movie, I don't care what anyone says, and the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, which I really do think is a great movie, but just seeing how Spider-Man never reached his potential, and it's really kind of mind-boggling that the guy who directed Cop Car goes ahead and goes 2 for 2 on his first 2 Spider-Man films. That's kind of fucking nuts to me, but
Cop Car was good.
Cop Car was really good, and I had to tell
the kids steal it.
Yeah,
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
oh, that's a great movie.
No, it's a great movie, but a lot of people didn't see it. I remember telling people,
"You guys see Cop Car?
Yeah,
Cop Car is excellent.
Yeah, if you're not seeing Cop Car, I highly recommend. But I would recommend. But okay, so A+. That is more than
cool.
That's more than fair.
So tell me about American Airlines.
Yeah, so so because of the rules, I'm not sure if the rules of slander are. So I'm gonna say slander. It's
You're just telling a story.
Yeah, we'll just call it let's call it Airlines B or Airlines A. Let's call it that. So. The reason why our Dark Phoenix review, which if you have not listened to, you should, Dark Phoenix, spoiler alert, not good, but the reason that review was late is because I got delayed 2 days in Boston when Alea and I went back for her sister Cambria's graduation, which happy belated, by the way, Cambria. So excited for you to go to college. So we got delayed a couple days. So we were supposed to fly back on a Monday. We get to the airport and it's like an hour 15 to spare, getting the TSA. And basically as we pulled into the airport, they were like, oh yeah, your flight got canceled. Just no rebooking or anything. Come back tomorrow. So it's like,
that doesn't sound like something a good airline would do.
I agree. It sounds like something terrible that that Airline A would do. Pardon me. Almost dropped the name again. So that happened on a Monday.
Like a similar A to like the A in USA?
That is correct. Yeah, right. Exactly. So we come back on Tuesday. We board the plane. The plane is delayed by an hour. They said, hey, there's something wrong with the engine, but we're figuring out, which, is something you totally want to hear when you're thousands of feet in the air. So
oh, they told you that in the air?
So they told us that, so we didn't take off. They were like, okay. Hey, there's something wrong with the engine. I'm sitting there like, that's not good. And so I'm sitting there in my seat watching Captain Marvel because they're like, it's an 8-hour flight, so get comfortable. Like, all right, cool. So
just like got the Marvel movie started.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, fine, fuck. So I got halfway through Captain Marvel and they said, oh yeah, we have to deboard the plane. It's like,
oh boy.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. So we deboard the plane.
I would have cried.
So at this point, I was so frustrated. I was like, fuck, okay. So we get off the plane. They have us delayed for another 2.5 hours before they flat out go, oh yeah, this plane's not going anywhere. But because they delayed us for so long, they couldn't get us on another flight to get us home that night. So then we had to wait until Wednesday. But here's the real kicker. They had the nerves to go, oh hey, we're going to compensate you for this. So they gave us $10 meal vouchers.
Wow.
which if you've been to an airport, you know you can buy jack and shit with $10 meal vouchers. Maybe a soda and some floss. So I was like, that's great. So
what a way to treat your customers.
Right.
Your fine paying customers.
Right. So I'm upset. I'm really cranky. And we had this wonderful lady who helped us out. And I won't say her name on here, but she was absolutely delightful. And she gave us like $80 meal vouchers a piece, right? Because she was like, look, we fucked up. I'm so sorry. Da-da-da. I'm like, oh, man, cool. So I think we have, $160 in meal vouchers. So I'm like, hey, let's treat yourself. We're stuck here. Let's have some fun with this. So we go to this nice Italian restaurant in the airport. And we go, oh, okay, cool. So it's like you can't pay for alcohol for those because lame. And we're like, all right, that's fine. I'll pay for the meal. They go to use our vouchers. Only $25 worth of the vouchers work. So I had to cover a bill for our dinner. I was like, that's super fucking awesome. Like I was I was really expecting to spend $100 on this meal. So. And then the real kicker on top of that is they said, oh yeah, we'll get you guys a hotel room. We'll comp you a hotel room. The closest hotel to us was 40 miles away, which with Boston traffic in the morning, we wouldn't have made our flight the next morning, which was 6:30. Yeah. So we had to sleep in the airport on cots. So they said, hey, we'll go ahead and we'll give you, we'll put the cots in like a quiet spot, right? They put us in the terminal with baggage claim. So I just have people are coming in from like 10 o'clock at night to like 1 in the morning. So Alea at this point is exhausted, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm mad because my girl's mad and she's mad and I can't fucking do anything about it. It's beyond frustrating. If any guy or girl who's got a significant other, you know how frustrating that shit is. So she's sleeping. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up all night so that she could get some sleep because she needed it more than I did. I was just like, fuck. I was like, I got my tablet. I'll watch. I rewatched Jessica Jones and some Daredevil. I was like, all right, I'm good. Got some Mike Tyson mysteries saved on here. I'm golden. I can stay up for, So
I like the picture of you just watching Mike Tyson mysteries in the Boston airport at like 4 a.m.
Oh, dude, that's exactly what I was doing. Well, it's funny. Kyle called me like at midnight, and I talked to Kyle for like an hour. He was just
really?
Yeah. So
did he see like your post on Facebook or something?
He saw my Facebook post, and he was like, dude, what's going on? So I filled him in, and he was like, wow, that's not great. I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty shitty night. Wow. But the one laugh, so I got 2 laughs out of the Tuesday night staying up all night. I was up all night, so I'm sitting there on my cot, just on my tablet, just like, God, this blows. And this lady just sits down next to me. This lady I've never met before, never talked to. She just sits down, she's like, oh, hi. I'm like, hello. She's like, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. And she was like, okay, that's good. I kind of looked around, and there's like open seats everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing sitting next to me? So I finally looked at her. I was like, miss? And she's like, yeah, sir. And I'm like, why are you sitting next to me? And she was like, oh, is this not a seat for the airport? I'm like, no, this is my bed. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. Gets up, walks away. And at that point, I just went, oh my god, I hate Boston so much. Like, I hate this city so much. And so we finally get on the plane like at 6:45 and get home like at 2 o'clock Pacific time. At this point, I'd missed an additional day of work, and like my manager is like, I have my manager on Facebook, and she's like, "Holy shit, you're still in Boston." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not happy about it." So the only joy I got is that this asshole dude, like at 1 in the morning after Leia had passed out, I was like, stroking her hair. I'm like, "Okay, get some sleep. I'll stay up. I'll wake you up," which I didn't, but. And so this guy comes in wearing like Boston Bruins gear, like decked out, right? And he looks over at me, like trying to comfort Leia, and he chuckles, like a real dick chuckle, just like, huh. And I was like, I'm sorry, sir, can I help you? And he's like, oh, nothing, just looking. And so at this point, I hadn't been sleeping. I was pretty hungry. I was pissed off. I was like, you know what? I stand up, and I'm maybe about 10 feet away from the guy. I'm like, you know what? I fucking hate this city. I don't even watch hockey, but I fucking hate the Bruins. I hope you guys lose to the goddamn Blues tomorrow night. Like, I was so upset, and luckily I got my wish, because the Bruins didn't win the Stanley Cup, and you know what? Good. I'm happy you didn't win your stupid Stanley Cup. And this guy just glares at me. So we have this stare down for like 30 seconds, and he just scoffs, grabs his bag, and walks off. But that is one of the few moments of joy I was able to take from being stuck in the airport, is that the Bruins didn't win the stupid Stanley Cup. So I've been arguing with this airline for about 2.5 weeks to give me my $200 and change back for my return trip. They will not do it. They had the nerve to go ahead and go, oh yeah, here's $100 voucher. I'm like, that doesn't even cover a one-way trip. Why the fuck would I? So I'm keeping the goddamn voucher. So I gave him like a week off as far as calling him, because I was calling every day.
Yeah.
So now, Saturday, I have time. I have nothing to do on Saturday, so that will be my Saturday. I'm going to wake up like at 7 in the morning. I'm going to call this airline, and I'm just going to bug and be like, look, I got trip protection on this shit. Why the fuck you're not giving me my money back? It's kind of beyond me, and yeah, so that's going to be my Saturday. So
nice.
To this airline that rhymes with Mamerican, I fucking hate you. I will never fly you again. I flew United on the way to Boston. Absolutely delightful. Had no problems at all. But Mamerican, this airline's, yeah, fuck you guys. Oh my god, I will never fly you again. Even that voucher, I'll probably get that voucher away. I don't even want the voucher. Like, yeah. Yeah, so that was my Boston trip. But meeting Alea's family and everything, well, you guys were all absolutely delightful. But no, they were great. It was the fucking trip home. It was, I made the joke. It was like,
it's tough.
I made the joke. It was like home, like Homeward Bound, the Hunter edition, because I couldn't get back to fucking Reno. And yeah, that's all because of Mamerican. So thank you. Really appreciate how incredibly shitty you guys were. So. Fun fact, too, there is no customer service line for claims. You have to do it all through email, which I went, that's convenient.
Of course, that's how it is.
Yeah, I was like, that's convenient. So, yeah. Or fax, pardon me. So, yeah, it's email or fax for claims. So, yeah. So, Mamerican, you're fucking terrible and I hate you. So, all right. Got that out of the way. Stuber. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about something I'm going to be honest, I was surprised I liked it as much as I did. I really enjoyed this, and Colin will tell you because I was mid-sip of my daiquiri, and there's this one line about this male strip club smelling like balls. I definitely may or may not have spit up some of my daiquiri onto poor Colin.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
And a little bit on the guy sitting next to me.
Oh, did I get the guy next to me?
Yeah, because afterwards he wiped his leg.
Shit. I feel like an asshole. I did not.
He played it off fine.
Okay.
I don't think he got a lot on him. Okay. But at least a drop. He got a lot on me.
Yeah,
sorry. And I was just like, God damn it, Hunter.
Sorry, man.
Control yourself.
Yeah, he caught me off guard saying that strip club smell like balls. I'm sorry. But it's...
It was very funny, though.
Yeah, it made me laugh. But this movie stars, of course, Dave Bautista, who, dude, he's become someone in quite in demand. Like, he's no... I think it's fair to say he's no Dwayne Johnson, but... Mm-hmm. I mean, we both love The Rock here. Like, we're both fans, big fans. But
plus, objectively, The Rock pulls in cash money.
True.
His movies make money.
But let's talk, dude, he's going to be in the Dune remake, which is fucking awesome. If you've talked to me about movies, you know I love Dune. He, of course, is Drax, the Destroyer, in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and in Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. And he was, of course, really important in fucking Blade Runner 2049, which has one of my favorite opening scenes in a movie in the last 3 years, at least. Like,
it's a sick fight.
Yeah, you get him in, the Ling, Ryan Gosling.
Where there's a Ryan Gosling joke in this movie.
Yeah, which made me laugh really hard. So I will say, as a fan of his from his pro wrestling days, I'm just happy for Batista. I'm like, dude, good for you. Like, he bet on himself. He said, look, I'm going to be an actor. It seems like he's taking this shit seriously, and he's doing well for himself. And we get a mini Guardians of the Galaxy reunion for like 5 minutes before Karen Gillan gets killed off. Which I will say, I love Karen Gillan so much, and
it was sad to see her die.
Yeah, she was great in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see her in the new one. She's just. So I will refrain from just talking about like how she's a tall, gorgeous redhead and all that fun stuff. But I just love her. I just love her acting, and I'm getting more into Doctor Who. So I've actually seen a little bit of her. I'm like, okay, she's actually really fucking good. And I think I'm the one person who watched Selfie, even though I thought that was a really good show, just a shitty title. But she's in this, and I would actually watch her in a cop movie. I was like, okay, she's actually like she's got some chops here. And so the movie opens up with Batista's Vic Manning and Karen Gillan's Sarah Morris hunting down this drug dealer. Which I will say, if there's a small complaint about how it starts, the action, it does kind of that shaky cam, kind of Bourne shit, but not done as well. Where I was like, okay, cool, I can see like a frame here and there, but some of it I was like, okay, like can we steady the camera so I can see, the punches and the gunshots and all that. But they go ahead and they hunt this drug dealer down, and the drug dealer and Sarah get into a kerfunkle, as it were, and he ends up shooting her point blank range in the gut. Which when it happens, I went, oh damn, that sucks. And because I was sitting there watching it, I was like, why isn't Karen Gillan on the poster? Oh, that's when I was like, that makes sense. And so she gets killed. And I will say, Vic, if I had to hold Karen Gillan in my arms and watch her die, I'd be mad as hell too. Like, he's a step away from doing the Darth Vader. No! Like, he's right there from doing it. But he actually did sell the emotion of it really well. So it jumps forward 6 months later, and I can never say his last name. The guy from Silicon Valley, Kumail
Nanjiani.
Wow, well done.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Okay, that was damn.
Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani.
Thank you,
dude.
Thank you, sir. Well done.
That's what I'm here for. That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Yes, sir. That was really good. But he plays Stu, and
what's funny too is I had no idea what the title of the movie meant.
Before
we went in, I guess I missed I don't know if they say his name's Stu in the trailer. I would think that would make sense. But the first time he said his name was Stu, and then I realized it was Stu and Uber, I was just like, I like this movie.
So it's funny. I didn't know his name either, and so I was confused too. I was like, Stuber, why? And I was like, okay, that's actually pretty fucking clever. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And make no mistake, this movie is a giant advertisement for Uber. Do not misunderstand. But as someone who uses Uber,
well, it's just a vehicle for the plot.
I love so much you made that plot. Honestly, I had that one ready, and I'm kind of mad you took it, but that was very well. You sneaky boots, but I do appreciate the fact though that the movie knows it's silly, but there are some emotional beats. I was like, oh, all right, this is actually working surprisingly well.
I love Kumail's boss.
Yeah, who
played by Jimmy Tatro.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, the genius from what's that Netflix fake documentary? American Vandal.
Yeah,
American Vandal.
That's what he's from.
He's the one that was accused of drawing the dicks.
That's right. Oh my. Okay, so he's
so good.
So this movie, and this has not happened in a while, where I'm seeing these actors and actresses and stuff, or in this, and I'm going, what do I know you from?
Yeah.
Like I whispered over Colin a couple times because Vic Manning, Batista's character's daughter, is played by Nally Morales, who plays Nicole. And I was trying so hard to remember what the fuck I knew her from, and it was driving me.
I was too.
It was driving me nuts. And she plays Lucy, who's Tom's girlfriend on Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's where I know her from. Okay.
She was originally bartending the night when he had the snake juice out.
Yeah.
And he ran up a tab that was crazy big.
Yeah.
He had to come in to get his card the next day.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, I was like, where did I know? And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And thank you so much for telling me where I know Jimmy Tatro from.
Yeah, he's also in this great I think it's on YouTube. It's like a YouTube series or I forget what it's on, but it's called The Real Bros of Simi Valley. It's like the Real Housewives show, but it's all these like douchebag frat bros. It's incredible, and they all live in like the LA Valley.
Is it kind of like Gigolo Horse or Gigolo House, like on Kroll show?
Yeah, but like a whole season of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I will say this movie, the laughs I thought were really consistent. I love Steve Howey is in this, so I know him from. And I'm gonna be embarrassed. I admit I watched the show, but I used to love No Shame in My Game. I used to love Reba. I fucking loved Reba.
You did love Reba.
And he played...
I've heard stories about what happens during Reba.
Yeah.
In your old apartment.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that on mic, but just things...
I know you like Reba.
Yeah, things that our listeners don't need to hear. Like, I know some listeners are like, wait, that's where you're drawing the line? Yeah, shockingly, but yeah, I'm actually going to draw the line.
I honestly agree with you. That's where we're drawing the line.
Yeah, for once I'm going to draw the line somewhere. It won't happen often if you're a first-time listener, but here line will be drawn for this review at least. But he's also on Shameless too. He was on Shameless, and he plays Kevin on there. And
Kevin, okay,
yeah. And I really actually like him on Shameless. I've fallen kind of in and out with Shameless. I'm like, I'll turn on. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But I've gotten a lot of entertainment out of Shameless.
Nikki and I watch the new season every year.
Okay, really?
Yeah, we love Shameless.
Okay, nice. But he was also in Game Over Man, the Workaholics movie.
I like that one.
Yeah,
I know how much you hate it, but I love that one.
I'm not a fan.
But I watched it twice.
But he, did you really watch it twice?
Yeah, I watched it again. It's so funny.
Son of a bitch, that's so weird.
Oh my god, the guys are just so stupid.
Oh, they're so dumb. But he plays a male stripper here. And oh my god, he's dressed up,
that guy, of course. Yeah, of course he's in Shameless.
Yeah, he was dressed up as like George Washington, I want to say, and it was very
it's some like old like forefathers.
Yeah, and so Stu okay.
I love how invested he got in his relationship that Kumail was trying to work out.
So I found this movie I think it's like a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and as we say on the podcast often, Rotten Tomatoes is not gospel. And I'll be honest, man, I was sitting there watching it, and I went, I don't know where the hate's coming from, because I laughed all the way through. I was like, I'm laughing.
You did laugh the whole way through.
I did. I was like,
I was laughing a lot too.
I was like, I'm really enjoying this. I mean, yeah, the plot it's very paint by numbers. Like, okay, so Stu has to take down, Vic has to take down, the last, that case, that one that got away.
Yeah.
So
and then it's one lead leads to the next lead, leads to the next lead.
Yeah.
Except it's just an Uber driver driving him around. Is the catch.
And then, of course, that the boss that goes, oh, this got transferred. You go, okay, so the boss is in on it. Like, it's very,
the twist definitely made everything at least make sense.
I agree.
Because when the plot was playing out, I was like, none of this makes any sense. Why is anybody giving him information? Like, or how does he know the information, and how did none of it made sense. But the twist at least tied things together in a way where the writers at least cared.
Yeah,
which I at least appreciated, even though it was pretty standard kind of. Yep, the twist is the other guy is the rat.
Yeah,
or there's a rat at all.
Yeah, it was very kind of like, all right, of course, but. So Stu is working at a I'm trying to think of what you'd even compare. Kind of like a Walmart.
Oh, it's a Dick's Sporting Goods.
Thank you.
It's a Dick's Sporting Goods for sure.
Yeah,
I was just in one recently. I was like, this is a Dick's.
Okay. well, yeah. Okay. So I was gonna make a joke. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm just it's fine. But so Stu is working there, very much just hating his life.
Yeah, Jimmy Tatro is his boss.
Yeah, Richie. Richie is just such a dick to him.
He's the first person that calls an Uber at the start of the movie.
Yeah, and what does he say? He goes if I don't get the candy and the tunes, I'm giving you another 0 stars. It's god damn, dude, ease up. And they have this great montage at the beginning of the movie where it's just all these Uber riders.
Yeah, that's right.
Who are just being so terrible.
The stereotypical terrible Uber fares. The person you don't want to be, but I may have been one of them at least once.
The
drunk guy.
Yeah, well, the one Halloween or the one 4th of July party, I definitely barely made out of that Uber before like throwing up all over. like that was a rough 4th of July. So I felt bad for him. I was like, oh, you poor bastard. But I think if there is a complaint, So I didn't know this until recently. That's actually a thing. If you drop below 4 stars, Uber can actually fire you.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea that was actually.
I have heard that before.
Real.
Yeah.
I was like, really? And it was like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And I think I've given 3 drivers maybe less than 4 stars, like ever. Like I usually give 5 stars by default, but I've had a couple drivers. I'm like, okay.
The only time I don't get 5 stars is if the dude like I can watch him on the screen and he has no idea like where he's going to come pick me up. Okay. And then and definitely if he like intentionally takes wrong turns to make it longer.
That's completely fair.
Which has only happened like maybe once or twice. At the end, I was like, "Oh, this dude took me for a fucking ride."
Yeah, like oh look, your charge went up. But
yeah, because it shows you the route you took. Anyway,
yeah, but
classic Uber complaints.
yeah, first world problems, right? Yeah. But what I did love about this though, Stu, is that Stu's just in a tough spot, man. He has a thing for this girl and Becca, who. Being that person before, it's not a great spot to be in. So it's like, I was like, this is hitting a little close. I don't know how I feel about this, but
friend zone, but even worse because there's about to be business partners.
So that is like maybe my biggest complaint about the movie. Like he wants to be with this girl so bad, he goes ahead and signs a business lease with her, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like that was the one of the few things I just went, all right, movie, that's a little far.
They addressed it at least a little bit when he was telling the girl that he was gonna stop chasing her, and she was like, "So you want to pull your money out?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm keeping my money, and it's a good investment. That place is gonna make a killing." Remember
that? I mean, that's fair, but yeah.
But still, it's still a terrible idea in the first place. But they were just showing what a sucker he was, right?
Yeah, and I will say they at least address that, later on. But so I think one of the things that did make me laugh really hard is that Vic is he ends up getting LASIK surgery, right?
Oh yeah, this is the dumbest part of the plot.
And so. I will say, when we lived together, you got LASIK. Yeah. And you were out for, a day, I think?
Yeah. It's like 24 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the next day it still sucks, but you just use eye drops, but you have perfect vision. Actually, when I left my LASIK appointment, I had, perfect vision.
Really?
Yeah, but your retinas are all... I don't know what it is, but... You have to have those glasses on that he's wearing. Yeah. Because it, shades the light, and you have to stay in, a dark room. Yeah. And you're not supposed to watch TV. I don't know. Yeah. This is all, I'm sure, all very interesting to everyone. But
so humor.
But you can see, right when they finished, I was like, oh my god, I have perfect vision.
So did you watch TV?
Oh, fuck, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I took a long nap, because they give you drugs. So I took a long nap, and then I woke up, and I was just like, it's the evening. I'm going to watch TV. I'm a millennial. What the fuck do you think I'm going to do?
That's completely fair. That's why. What was that quack doctor?
Yeah, he doesn't know. Yeah, medical school?
Yeah, God.
I have the internet. I read this guy did it, and he's fine.
Yeah. Granted, he was on the Ask Jeeves, which is no longer thing, but whatever.
Yeah. Ask Jeeves is still relevant, god damn it.
Yeah, exactly. But that is the one part of the plot, or one of the parts of the plot where it goes in that slapstick category where it's like, all right,
yeah, but they had to come up with something to make him need an Uber the whole time.
Yeah, true.
But it was still dumb.
But out of all the plot devices they went with, there's a point where Vic Bautista's character drives a car into a ditch and just walks away.
I mean, there's some great Mr. Magoo stuff in there.
Yeah, but
for sure.
But someone would have called the cops or something and been like,
"Oh,
hey,
you can't go down that road."
Yeah, I know. Like,
there are constantly people firing guns into the street. There's like giant like gun battles that like are just fine. Don't worry about it.
At a veterinary clinic.
At the veterinary clinic, the things are like exploding. They just walk out of there. Nothing. Everything's fine.
Yeah, like
don't worry.
Like it very much is like that school, like that school movie syndrome where kids are getting like abused and fucking, and there's like no teachers or principal around. Like, it's very much that.
There's no law and order. It's just like Dave Bautista is the only law and order in LA. He does what he pleases.
It's very much anarchy. Yeah. But
he's like the sheriff of all of LA.
Yeah,
and there's no one higher authority. He does what he wants, which makes for a great movie. Actually,
it does.
At least I don't know about great, but very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, so as far as the whole Uber plot, apparently Dave Bautista and say his name for me, please.
Oh, Kumail Nanjiani.
Thank you. Apparently, they're actually like best friends in real life, and
they were on Jimmy Kimmel. I saw they were like. Pretty funny.
Yeah, and apparently they've been wanting to work together for a while. Hence this vehicle wink. And and I will say their chemistry is probably the best part of the movie. They have a lot of. I don't know how much of this was written and how much room they were given to improv because on Silicon Valley you can tell. Some of it
feels like improv. A lot of Kumail's lines were probably improv.
Yeah,
because he's a really, really good stand-up comedian.
He is,
and writer. He like wrote The Big Sick.
Yeah, which we never reviewed, but I fucking love that movie.
Oh, The Big Sick is incredible.
And by the way,
very funny.
If you have not seen his episode of the Twilight Zone reboot, I highly recommend. It is fucking amazing. So please watch that if you have not. And I think Bautista. For being such a big guy and just being the kind of the muscle as it were, he does have some really good comedic timing here. There is a fight between Vic and Stu, which on paper Bautista would beat the shit out of Stu, like it wouldn't even be a contest, but because he's Matt Murdocked, he's unable to see him clearly and stuff like that, and they take advantage of the rip off Dick's Sporting Goods. It turns into kind of like a mini Home Alone fight, which I actually laughed really hard at how they use the things.
That was a great fight.
Yeah, how they use the things in the...
And that was another way that they used him not being able to see, because that's the only way a fight would ever, like, even go past Bautista annihilating him immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that worked in that, like, regard for that fight. Because he was just getting, like, bats chucked at him and you couldn't see where they were coming. I know,
he's throwing just, like, full-on, like, metal. I was like, Jesus. Yeah. Okay, throwing full-on metal bats at him. Like, no big deal. Like, just all right.
Off of him.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, it's mostly Bautista and...
Kumail.
Thank you, Kumail. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's mostly Dave Bautista and Kumail's movie. There's other characters in there, but it's really more of...
Which is a good thing, because they're the best part, for sure.
I agree. And so the movie does really focus on them. Like I said, you get a little bit of Bautista and his daughter, and then you get a little bit of Betty Gilpin, who plays Becca, who's the woman that Stu is pining over. Which, again, I will say, and if I can have a Danny Tanner moment here, a black Danny Tanner moment. I was going to say Bill Cosby moment, but that will not age well.
Whoa, what was in this LaCroix?
Yeah. Aww. Colin's white. He's drinking LaCroix, but
I'm in danger.
But
calling 911.
Yeah, stranger danger. But I will say about this movie though, it does like. If you have feelings for someone, just put it out there. Don't do this whole, like... It comes across very sneaky, and I think the movie did Vic does a good job of calling Stu out and being like, look, dude, man the fuck up and just tell her how you feel. And that's something that's really not portrayed nearly enough. I think we get into that kind of that loop of the whole romantic comedy of, there will be that moment where you guys, like, lock eyes and... you'll just know. And it's like, no, people can't read minds. You need to just be straight up with people and be like, hey, this is how I feel. So I really appreciate when Stu just laid it out there and went, look, this is how I'm feeling. Because they, because when he's talking to the one stripper in the club there, he's talking about how we watched When Harry Met Sally one time and we boned, and I appreciate that because first off, being the guy in the scenario, it's really difficult because you are kind of like, all right, so does this mean we're dating, or was it a one-off, or So I remember the first time I went through that, I felt so much like Stu watching this. I was like, oh man, I'm relating this to more than I probably should. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I feel that, man, and. The movie does a good job of being like, yeah, it was just kind of a one-off thing, and he's just like, oh shit, what do I do? And the girl he's pining over, Becca, the fact that she is dating a Laker,
like
a made-up
ex-Laker, made up one,
a made-up one, like she's not like fucking Nick Young or something like that, because he's faithful. But I appreciate the fact that he has this guy who's like, quote, definition of a man, and he's just like, he's an Uber driver who doesn't know what the fuck he's driving, but he doesn't know where he's going.
Getting deep.
Ooh, right, there you go. But I really appreciated that, and I thought the way they wrapped up the storyline, they didn't go the very, very easily predictable route of him and her getting together. I really appreciate that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that would have been very easy to be like, hey, they ended up together anyway.
Yeah,
like,
it showed more self-respect.
Yeah. Because, honestly, that doesn't always happen. So I appreciate that they went, no, that's not what happens. Now, the moment I saw that Vic had a daughter, I went, oh, all right.
Me too.
I went, all right, I know where this is going.
That was the first thing I thought. The first time that Kumail started talking to his daughter, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
they're getting together.
Like this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like the fights. The fights got better as they went on. Like as far as the action scenes, I went, okay, these are actually being done really well. I thought the third act was really funny. There's a whole sequence early on in the movie when Stu initially picks up Vic and he's talking to him about like, oh, hey, so like, what kind of music guy are you? Do you like rap? I got rap. I've got rock. I've got classic rock. I've got adult contemporary. I've got all this in my iPod. Like what? And he's kind of like, I peg you for I think he says I peg you for a classic rock guy. And he goes like, Styx. I feel like you like Styx. And in the third act, in like the last big car chase, they do use "Come Sail Away." And I will admit, whenever I hear "Come Sail Away," I think about the South Park version when Cartman sings it. That's where my brain immediately goes now. But this actually brought me back to classic Styx. So I went, yeah, like I like the original version. Hell yeah, like I can get down some "Come Sail Away."
In a great car chase scene.
Yeah,
I like that car chase.
They throw a propane tank and it goes through
his face.
It goes through this guy's face, and then the car explodes. I'm like, wait, what?
This movie was low key graphic.
Yeah,
like at the start, people's heads were like getting shot and like exploding blood.
Yeah, and it's a violent movie.
Yeah,
like it's almost like, so I would almost compare it to if you took Rush Hour and you took Kick-Ass and you put them in a blender. Yeah. This is kind of what you would get.
It reminded me of also that Ryan Reynolds, Sam Jackson movie.
Oh, Hitman's Bodyguard.
It was kind of like that.
And I actually own Hitman's Bodyguard. I really enjoy it. It's like the way you feel about Game Over, man. Like I love Hitman's Bodyguard, and we're getting a sequel, and I'm like, yes, I'm all about a sequel to Hitman's Bodyguard. I didn't even think about that. That's a really good.
I was thinking Hitman's Bodyguard when you were seeing this, but I actually liked this one much more.
Yeah, I know you weren't a fan of Hitman's Bodyguard.
Hitman's Bodyguard was fine, but I didn't think it was nearly as funny as you did. But okay. I thought this one was really funny.
So I mean, getting to final thoughts here, I had a lot of fun with this, man. Like I had a lot of fun with this, more than I was expecting.
Me too.
Because I was hearing some reviews from people, and they're like, "Yeah, I didn't like it." I'm like, okay, but we were talking about it on the drive over. Comedy is very much like horror in that sense. It is so subjective. Sometimes I think a movie just flat out sucks, and if you've listened to the podcast, I will make no qualms about saying that. But I had so much genuine just fun with this. I was like, yeah, I laughed. I spit up I spit up strawberry daiquiri.
Yeah, you seriously did like the comedic spit out a drink.
Yeah,
like, in a theater.
Yeah, unintentionally.
It was a wild sight.
Yeah, again,
luckily everything was fine.
Yeah, it's a really good thing that guy wasn't mean or a racist or both. That would have been
he was alone too, so
yeah. He seemed cool.
He seemed cool. He was laughing.
He was laughing hard. I was like, okay.
Right after you spit the margarita on him, he was laughing at the very next scene.
Yeah,
so he didn't care.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah. To that guy, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. I felt like such a dick just calling that.
Honestly, yeah. You. I think. If I would have saw this movie by myself in a theater, I probably would give it maybe even a whole grade lower.
Really?
I had no idea. Maybe I would have still loved it and laughed the whole time. But you really loved it. I think it made me like it more because you were just laughing the whole time.
So I realized I'm going to be way higher than probably most critics. But as I've said, I don't apologize for my ratings. I rate it by the way
it was a really fun movie.
So I'm going to give this... Oh, man, what am I going to give this? I'm going to give this an A-, man. Because I will buy this when it comes out, and I'll have people be like, hey, let's watch Stuber. Hey, guys, want to come over, get some beer?
Stuber has tons of, just scenes you can put on, and they're really funny.
Yeah, now I will say as a point of reference, because I think some people would ask, did you like this or Tag more? Tag is still I still like Tag more. Because
Tag is a big ensemble cast, too. That one's and it has Jeremy Renner doing the action. He was prime Hawkeye.
Yeah.
That's a really good movie.
Yeah, so I would like something like Tag more personally, but considering just how much I was not expecting to like this much, this really caught me off guard. I was like, okay, but in a good way. I'm like, all right, I really appreciate this. So yeah, solid A- for me. Mr. Colin, your final thoughts and grades, sir.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was surprised me how much I did like it, but not a ton because I was actually feeling the cast they put together was going to work pretty well, just in Dave Bautista and Kumail.
Yeah.
Because the last things I've seen them in, they're really funny in their roles. Dave Bautista, what's his name?
Drax.
Drax.
Yeah.
Drax is classic.
Yes, he is.
I mean, Drax is usually one of the funniest people in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you knew him, playing off Kumail, who was just in The Big Sick, who's Kumail's just all he does is zip out witty one-liners.
He's the best part about Men in Black International, by the way.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, all of Silicon Valley, that's his character. He just throws out jabs.
Yep.
He just knows what to say. That's his whole character. And he's a brilliant comic. And a lot of that, what he says is improv.
Oh, yeah.
So the two of them together, it worked as well as I hoped it would. Because they're both funny. Dave Bautista has a ton of comedic timing. He's actually very good. And then Kumail, just watching the two of them together, that's already a solid grade. But it was a pretty entertaining movie. I can't say the plot was really keeping me too riveted. At the end, I was kind of just I was happy how quickly they ended it. They had one good fight scene, and then they're all right, we're good.
So, sorry, before you get to your rating, the director of this, Michael Dowse...
I looked at him real quick. He hasn't done much, yeah.
He did something I hated. He did Take Me Home Tonight. Oh. I fucking hate that movie.
Oh, really?
That is... Oh, do you remember the movie Topher Grace? And,
yeah, I don't remember hating it. But
I hate that movie. So,
Goon isn't bad.
I actually really enjoyed Goon. So
Goon is, with Sean William
And then he did Man-Seeking Woman, which I know you're kind of
I don't like that show.
You're not a fan. I watched.
He did the whole show, or he just directed a few episodes.
He directed 6 episodes.
Okay, yeah. I don't like that show.
Yeah, and then the writer, Tripper Clancy, has really done just shorts. So
Hot Dog.
Yeah, so
this is his grand sequel to Hot Dog.
This is his magnum opus, as it were. So I mean, it's crazy to me that. Again, if I have not watched Take Me Home Tonight in a minute, but man, oh man, I cannot stand Take Me Home. He did What If with Daniel Radcliffe, which I actually own. I really enjoy that movie.
What If is fine.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that. So
What If has the girl from The Big Sick.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That is her.
Yeah.
Oh my, you're blowing my mind. God, we're just putting together all these different actors and actresses and shit I like or hate.
I like What If.
Yeah.
I like when they get naked. It's real sexy.
Right, I know. You get to see Harry Potter's Patronus. Yeah. Super odd. Sorry, you're great.
Oh, yeah. What movie are we talking about? Stuber. That's right.
Yeah.
So, the guy's name's Stu. He drives an Uber. Stuber. B+. Let's go B+.
B+. That's fair.
I like Stuber. I would definitely watch Stuber again.
I was on that B+, A-. Like,
yeah. When I walked out of the theater, I was like, that was a B+.
That's fair.
So I was like, unless Hunter gives it less than that, I have to give it less than Hunter. Because I know I liked it less than Hunter did. Because Hunter loved it.
That's completely fair. But yeah, man, I left the theater. I was like, man, I just had fun with it. I was like, this is just
It was a really fun time. And you know what? Clean 90 minutes. Gotta appreciate that.
Okay,
get in and get out. Thursday night movie. Perfect.
Which, thank God, so this is something we've talked about multiple times on the podcast. There is no reason a comedy needs to be over 2
That's actually
hours.
the worst part of The Big Sick, is that it's like 2 fucking hours.
Yeah.
Because the last 30 minutes where she's just like really sick, obviously it's called The Big Sick, but it doesn't need to be as long as it is.
Agreed.
So, I mean, the fact is clean 90 minutes, comedy, action, get everything you want, popcorn, get out of there. I love it.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the best things about it.
I absolutely love that. It was very clean, it was very sleek, and I was like, man, and it felt like it flew by, which is how it should feel.
Yeah. No scenes dragged too much.
No.
It just kind of got on with it.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Good.
Absolutely loved it.
Got to see a big old black dick.
But yeah, so there's some yeah, and
kind of sneak into the background.
Yeah, and not
one of the shots,
and not mine for context, but
I'm sure the same size.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a garden hose. But
what did the girl say? It was like a dick the size of
Simon Birch. which
that was a great joke.
Which the fact they pulled Simon Birch, I went, really? I was like,
that was the most random. That caught me off guard. She said the dick the size of Simon Birch. I started laughing.
I haven't thought about Simon Birch in
exactly.
so long.
That was the best part of the
joke.
And
I'm probably going to think about like black dick Simon Birch from
that
now
just
on.
ruined Simon Birch. Like,
yeah, I'm sure the guy who wrote Simon Birch is like, oh, what the fuck? Like, come
Simon fucking Birch, that movie.
Watch the rentals go up like 300%.
I'm gonna go buy it on Amazon right now.
It's like, watch it be like, oh, okay, there better be a black dick in this. I'm gonna be disappointed as hell. But yeah, man, like I enjoyed this. Like it won't be on like my best stuff or anything, but I really did laugh hard. And when this comes out, I'll buy it. Like I'll definitely buy this. But yeah, but yeah, B+. I like that. But guys, what did you think of Stuber? Because there was nothing else coming out this week. Like
that's it.
Yeah, because Far From Home's gonna come out is already out. It's gonna crush everything again, and then
this is gonna pale in comparison to Far From Home 2.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I did get I did have someone ask me like, "Are you going to review Crawl?" No, I saw the trailer for it. Like, I'm not reviewing it. So I was like,
don't even know what that is.
It looks like this very just dumb. Like, yeah, I was just like, I'm not watching this. I might see it.
Is it horror?
It's horror, but it doesn't even look like good horror. It just looks like it's 87 minutes. That tells you anything. I'm just like
slasher.
It's like a mutant snake or some shit breaks into this, like there's a flood and then like snakes come in.
Wow.
It looks dumb. I'm just like, I mean,
why would you watch that when you could just watch Snakes on a Plane?
Yeah.
Much better movie.
And there's at least
snakes.
boobs and snakes on a plane too. And Samuel L. Jackson. So
I want to watch Snakes on a Plane now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll review Snakes on a Plane this weekend. Like, why?
That'd be great.
Why the fuck not?
Instead of Crawl, we've decided to review Snakes
on a Plane. You know what? You know, if you're free Sunday, you let me know. Let's review Snakes on a Plane instead. But guys, if you've seen Stuber, let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can go ahead and follow us on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean at The Real Pineapple. You can go and like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Go and engage with us. Let us know what you're liking so far this year. I already have my top 4 favorite films of the year currently.
Ooh.
I'll give away my number one right now. It might change, who knows? But right now, my number one favorite movie of the year is Booksmart. It's number one.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think that's mine, too, actually.
Like, I love Booksmart. Right now, it's Booksmart 1, Booksmart 1, Rocket Man 2.
Rocket Man 2?
Yeah.
Wow, I need to see Rocket Man.
Yeah, love Rocket Man. And then number 3 would be Endgame right now. Like,
But what you said before was true, you gave that an A+ only.
I did, yeah. But
it's top 10?
It's
Far From Home got a fan-fucking-tastic.
It did, and Far From Home is 4. And the reason I give Endgame the slight edge on Spider-Man is just because it did wrap up 22 films worth of an arc. And it's got maybe my favorite last hour in film in the last 10 years. Like, I love that last hour of that movie so much.
When Black Panther comes through.
Dude, and everyone just comes out of the portals. That last hour, I'm like, this is everything I wanted. So, yeah.
Team Groot.
Team Groot. But, if you've not seen Booksmart and listened to our Booksmart review, go listen to that. It's a great movie if you have not seen it. But,
yeah, really good.
And, but guys, you can follow us yours truly, on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott, who will be making his return next week, which I'm really excited to get Scott back on here at Nearmanthefirst. You can follow Colin on Twitter at
TheReelOneal.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Next weekend, we'll have a review up for The Lion King, because that comes out on Thursday. I'm excited. I'm excited for that, man. I'm ready
Lion King.
I'm ready to cry again, because I know I will cry.
Mufasa's gonna make it this time, Hunter.
I
get your hopes up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, I feel so bad for like an 8-year-old kid who has not seen the original.
There'll be no stampede.
Yeah, no scars.
Not in the picture.
No Long Live the King line. Yeah,
the movie's just gonna be about Simba growing up happily with his father his whole life.
Yeah, just like. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that, but we'll have a review up for Lion King, and then we'll have a review up as well for Stranger Things 3.
Oh, I already finished it.
I did too.
Damn.
Shit
gets crazy.
Yeah, we will save it for next weekend because I'm very curious to get your thoughts.
Hopper.
Yeah, I know.
No spoilers.
Yeah, Hopper's great.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, you won't cry at all. The one thing I will say about the show, I loved the action so much more this season than I did in season 2. That is the one thing I will give away by my review, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But we'll have a review. TBC. But we'll have a review up. But we'll have a review up for that next weekend as well, guys. And actually, this weekend. Next weekend as well, we'll have a review up as well for When They See Us, which I've been working through. It's really hard for me to work through that because it's a very rough show or rough miniseries, but it's so brilliantly done. But we'll have a review up next weekend for that as well. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Peace.